Hello and welcome to the Prepping Report. It has been 4 days since the shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School. It is now Tuesday, and all throughout the news media we're still talking about gun control. And along with that, two businesses that to me I will never use again have made the news today. First one is Dick's. Dick's Sporting Goods has taken all the AR-15s off the shelves for an undisclosed amount of time for a national time of mourning. Evidently Dick's and their corporate office are not smart enough to realize that, number one, the shooter used two pistols, a Glock 10mm handgun and a SIG and 9mm, along with the Bushmaster AR-15. They're just taking the AR-15s off the shelves and not the pistols. Evidently they don't want to lose too much money, and also evidently they're too stupid to realize that any firearm can cause death. It doesn't matter whether it's an AR-15. You can have a shotgun, whether it be a duck hunting shotgun or a Mossberg 590. They can both do the same amount of damage. To me, I will never go back to Dick's. I've done ripped up my scorecard, and they're another business to boycott, along with AutoZone. Along with Dick's is also cheaper than dirt. Today they announced that they're suspending all their online gun sales. I don't know the reason for that. You buy a pistol from them, it has to be shipped to an FFL. They have to do a background check to make sure that you're legal to own the firearm. There's really no way that a person can buy these firearms illegally, and that goes back to Adam Lanza, and we're going to get into a second about the true problem with all these shootings. But first, Dick's and Cheaper and Dirt, another business to boycott, but a business to support is Keller's Riverside Gun Store in Austin, Texas. Today they announced that they're offering discounts to anybody that works in the school system. They offer concealed carry permit classes. I believe that their normal rate is $110 for their class. If you're in Texas and you work for a school system, they will offer the concealed carry permit class for $90, a $20 savings. That goes along with the new legislation that Texas is putting up in its legislature, allowing concealed carry permit holders that work in schools to be allowed to carry their firearms in the school. That is another one. Plus, if you look at my thoughts on gun control, albeit I stated that the people needed training, it is making progress to stopping some of these school shootings. If you look at about the rates, 10 less people die if a shooter is confronted by a concealed carry permit holder rather than a law enforcement officer. I apologize, I've got a cold too, springing on. Also in the news, if you're an investor, 3 companies that you need to invest in, they're all firearms related companies: Freedom Group, Sturm, Ruger and Company, and also Smith & Wesson. Since the school shooting, all these liberals evidently are dropping all their shares in these stocks. These stocks are going down. All 3 of these are very good companies. They promote firearms and firearm business. And of course, California, their School Teachers Association is considering dropping them off their retirement. Evidently, they hold a bunch of shares in Freedom Group, which sells over 2.2 million firearms every year. They've took the largest hit out of all the companies. So if you invest in these companies, they're good American companies and they support firearms. Now let's go back to the true problem with what's going on here. It's not the firearms, as I stated in my gun control video. It's the mentally ill. If you look at 5 major shootings, first the Fort Hood shooting, that guy's a terrorist. The Obama administration may not want to consider him a terrorist, but he's a terrorist. He did that based off his religious views. It fits with the definition of terrorism. The Obama administration evidently does not want to classify it as a terrorist act, but everybody knows that he's a terrorist. But look first at the Columbine High School shooting. Shooters in that, they're mentally ill. If you look at the Arizona shooting, where the congresswoman was injured and quite a few people died, that person was mentally ill. If you look at the Colorado movie shooting, that person was mentally ill. Although it's unconfirmed yet, there's a lot of news stories reporting that the shooter at the Sandy Hook Elementary School, Adam Lanza, is also mentally ill. Now, why are we having this problem? Well, back in the 50s and 60s, if I got my facts correct, I may be off, the government decided that housing mentally ill people in hospitals for long term was not the proper way to go about it. So they created community mental health clinics. If you look now in your community, wherever you're at in the United States, more likely than not, you have some sort of counseling center in your community, and that is the community health clinic. So if somebody has a problem and they're mentally ill, whether it be a minor problem or a major problem, they go once or twice a week to their community mental health clinic and get the treatment that they need. In doing so, instead of actually talking to doctors or psychiatrists who specialize in this, they talk to social workers. And every once in a while, they may be able to talk to a doctor. We're going to have to reevaluate how we deal with the mentally ill. It is quite evident as a law enforcement officer and as just a general citizen, what's going on in our society. These community mental health clinics are not doing the job as needed. Somebody should have put a stop to Mr. Lanza before it was happened. If you look at the weapons used, his mother purchased all these firearms legally. Connecticut is a very strict gun control state. She had everything legally. Her son broke in, or evidently stayed there, broke in there, killed his mother, and stole the firearms. It's not a firearms problem. It's something that we're going to have to look at mental health wise. Why was Adam on the street? Did he receive the treatment that he needed? If he did not receive the treatment that he needed, why didn't he? The same with the Colorado shooting suspect in the movie theater. After the fact, all these people come up and say, well, he had mental health issues. Well, how come it wasn't dealt with? Who dropped the ball in dealing with his mental health problems? Whether it was his family or his friends, or, he did see a psychiatrist. How come his psychiatrist dropped the ball? And, of course, it's not really news now. I remember shortly afterwards, during an initial appearance with the Colorado shooting person, they had a huge hearing on whether his psychiatrist could testify and what he could testify to. To me, the law's not working good there. We need to figure out what was wrong with him and how come his psychiatrist dropped the ball. But looking at that, and that's the end of this report, please share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also join me on Facebook, where we talk about issues on a regular basis. But remember, it's not a gun control problem. Violence will always be here. We've got a problem with mentally ill, and we've got a problem with not having accurate security. Thank you.